Welcome to Sorta Sophisticated with Pete and Amanda.
All right, Amanda, here's how we're starting this one. Are you ready?
Oh, man, I guess so.
I'm coming in hot. Okay, picture this. America, the 1920s. Go back all the way, 100 years, 1920s. All right, flappers, we're having fun. Okay. Cars have been around like how long? 20 years? 1908? Yeah, 15 years, 20 years. Yeah. And I mean, there's no real infrastructure built yet. Like, I mean, like you have New York on the East Coast and then you have Chicago, but like west of all that, we got nothing. Okay.
Yes. No highways.
Yeah. No highways, streets. No byways, none of that crap, right? Just like a bunch of different roads and a bunch of different towns, like a web of nonsense and a bunch of dirt and gravel and shit like that. Okay. So out of nowhere, some guys in Washington decide that's it. They've had it. And they draw a line on the map straight from Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica, California.
Huh.
Let's go, right? 2,400 miles right through Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, and straight into California, right to Santa Monica. What do? They call it Route 66. Get your kicks on Route. Okay, anyway, within 20 years after that, Route 66 goes from a line on the map to like the Silk Road of America. You remember the Silk Road? Shout out to the Silk Road episode? Yes. And it started connecting all these people in America from all these different places. And for the first time ever in 150 years, our country, you would say, felt unified. So you're probably wondering, like, why did I just pick Route 66 to do our next podcast episode? Because it's a road and roads are boring. And I know you're already looking at me funny because, Amanda, it's not just a road. It is how we invented our culture, our American culture, our American identity. I'm arguing it is the soul of America. That's what we're doing.
Route 66.
Route 66.
Okay.
So here's what we're promising today. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, first, why it even existed in the first place and how the timing literally was everything. Timing is everything. Okay, this is going to be wild. Second, I freaked out over this one. Okay, second, some stories from the actual people who used it, like the tourists, the soldiers, the writers, like people like moving through the road and why it was so important. And then finally, why we as Americans, we are still obsessed with it, even though the government officially decommissioned it almost 50 years ago.
Decommissioned?
It's decommissioned. Bum, 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 off
I can still drive on it.
You can, but it's off the map. I know.
What?
This is wild. I know. It's going to be
Really?
crazy. Here we go.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Let's go. Let's get
Okay.
into it. Welcome back to Sorta Sophisticated, the podcast where culture, curiosity, and chaos collide. How excited are you? Scale of 1 to 10. Go. Tell me.
I mean, I'm pretty excited because we did do a road trip on Route 66 with my parents.
Of course you did, because you do everything that I don't do. I sit in the studio and talk about it. You actually live the experiences. I love you for this.
But
this is it.
in a converse way.
What?
You know all the details about it. I did it because I'm like, oh, this sounds like a good idea. And it's like Cars from Disney.
Yes. Oh my God. I love it. You're so
let's
into
go
it already.
see.
Yes.
So, we stopped at like all the fun little towns
Yes.
along the way. But I didn't
Oh,
realize.
you're gonna
I
totally
knew
get
it
into
ran
this
across
then.
the country, but I didn't realize it was what connected.
It's
I mean,
all-
like that was the first thing that
It was
connected the whole country.
very, very purposeful.
Huh.
Yeah. This is.
Or that it was decommissioned.
I know.
Or
That,
two new fun facts.
that was wild. Right. I had no idea.
All right, so it's our word of the week, something to do with like decommissioning a road or shutting something down, or I'm going for
No.
definition, not actual word here.
It's not even close. Okay, because I do it on purpose. Like I make sure the word of the week doesn't match, so it's hard for
I
you.
know.
Okay. All right. Word of the week this week is Saturnine. Saturnine.
That sounds like asinine.
Saturnine. Yeah, I don't even know what it means.
Saturn, like Saturn,
Saturn. Okay.
the planet. I don't know.
Maybe it's an adjective. It means slow, gloomy, and sullen in temperament.
What does Saturn mean in Latin?
Yeah, so I guess it goes back to like medieval astrologers that believed if you were born under Saturn, you came out cold and heavy.
Okay.
Sort of like lead, which, fun fact, is also where you get the word leaden from, which describes someone's mood also. They're in a leaden mood, L-E-A-D-E-N. Yes. So slow, gloomy, and sullen in temperament.
Fair. I don't even know how we're going to get this word in. Leaden. Like heavy.
No, like not like heavy, like heavy like mood. Not like heavy like physically.
So
not
feeling.
Feeling, heavy feeling.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get this one. Okay.
Saturn.
Anyways.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't we just go back to Route 66? The thing that I was actually intrigued with.
66.
So why is it 66 and not 1?
Route 1, like because it was the first real. It was like
Yeah,
the OG road.
Wouldn't that make sense?
That's actually a good question. I don't know. Hold on. If you like what you're listening to, hit subscribe and follow us, please. New episodes come out every Wednesday morning at 4:30 on your favorite podcast platforms.
You're so good at that.
I know. I got to remember each time because like somehow I think I'm hoping for the one person to be like, oh, okay. I'll follow
4:30.
along. Yeah, okay. All right, why not Route 1? Okay, here we go. So here's the thing. Like 1926, this all happened in 1926. It's the 100th year anniversary of this road. That's the whole point. Okay. They had roads, right? They just were messy roads. And the problem is every state owned their own numbering system for their roads.
Oh, it's
and
like
then their own,
interstates
right.
and
Then they didn't
highways,
have
okay.
those. They didn't have interstates yet. So they had their own roads with their own numbers and their own signs. So it sort of like sucked because you'd be like following a road through, I don't know, like Missouri or something like that. And as soon as you got close enough to crossing to Oklahoma or Oklahoma next, I think it is. Anyway, if I'm wrong, oh well, I'm only sort of sophisticated. The road would just sort of end, right? It was just because it was whatever the last town was, and then that was it. And then you would like drive through fields and grass and mud till you were like in the next state, and then picked up their next dirt road, and they were totally discombobulated. It was bonkers.
I mean, it's one thing that I think makes like the United States so unique because really each state, if you think of it as being its own country, this makes sense.
Yeah, this is right. This is
right of like why the road would just end and then you'd have to go find the next road because you're going to a different country.
It's bonkers because that's in other countries that's what would happen, but here it's in the States. That's what's happening. Yes.
Right, and so I think, I mean, even just that the road connected all of us, I think it even took us a step further from being little individualized countries and domains to
unified.
One big,
the United States of America. I mean, because if you really think about it, I'm off the reservation right now completely. United States. Think about those words. That's like an emotional feeling. The United States. Like other countries don't have that. Portugal does. Spain. Like we named our country on a feeling.
Right, but like
on a feeling.
You think of like Portugal and Spain. I mean, everything in that region, they all share borders. They're all super close, just like here in the States.
Right.
But they're not part. I mean, I know they're part of the EU and whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like it's something very specifically
American.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
It is kind of wild. I know.
Sorry.
Okay.
I digress.
All right. So there we are. So we have the roads like that are all messy all over the place, and then you had the Model T. So all the way back when I said,
"Hey, when they were still cranking?"
Yes, they're cranking out. So mass production of Model T started in 1908. So by 1926, there were like 20 million of these like cars on the road already. So the federal government steps in and says, "Enough's enough. We need to organize into one unified, like normal national system," and they decide to use the same numbering logic through all the states. So same signs, same numbering, all that kind of stuff. And they sort of took all the existing roads that were already there and sort of stitched them all together and then gave them federal numbers. And that is the moment that Route 66 was born, like right then. Not as a new road, but like a unified concept that they were going to put it all together. Okay?
But how then, again, Route 66? Like why 66?
Why 66? Oh, I didn't even answer you.
Were there
Okay.
only routes?
Yeah, no, that was a whole nother rabbit hole I went down. Sorry. Okay. So first of all, question, do you know who the president was in 1926?
Sure don't.
Putting you on the spot.
Nope.
You don't know who was in charge of all this?
Somebody with glasses.
I like that. That's why we are sort of sophisticated. President Calvin Coolidge, people. He was the president.
Does he have glasses?
While I believe he did have glasses. I don't know if good old Cal had. No, Cal, I don't think had glasses.
Well,
anyway, okay.
Shot.
So here's a rabbit hole. So it started with some guy named Cyrus Avery, who was this big Oklahoma businessman guy who wanted this transcontinental road to run through his hometown, specifically Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh.
Tulsa. The problem was he wasn't like a state representative or anything. He was just a guy from Oklahoma who like had some pull and wanted to make a shit ton of money. Okay. So the same time that's Cyrus is starting to advocate, right? First lobbyist or whatever. The government is like deciding on all of the names of all the roads. So they decided, completely unrelated to Cyrus, that the big important highways, they're going to have zeros and fives. So if you go across the country, it ends in 0. And if you're going north to south, it ends in 5. Right? That's why we have Interstate 15, Interstate 25, Interstate 35, all across the country one way. You did not know this? This is news to you?
Yeah. I may have heard it somewhere.
Yeah. That's
along the way.
That's why we have the 10, and then the 20, and then the 30, and then the 40, and then the 50.
Oh, it goes up.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, the 5. So the 5
yes.
go up and down.
Yes, the 5.
Yeah, right.
The 5 is the first one on the West Coast.
We do have a 10.
The 10 goes so
and
wrong
we have
way.
a 210.
Okay.
No, but the 210 is not.
You're off your rocker. Just do the 5.
Yeah.
The 5 is the farthest on the west. The next one is the 15. That's the next one that runs all the way up.
But I drive on the 405.
Those are not. So I'm only talking about the interstates.
How do I know what the interstate?
They are all 2 numbers, and they go from 5 to 95 across the country.
Oh.
And from 10 to 90 up and down.
Huh.
That's it. Those are the ones. Anything else that you have?
Those are the OG ones.
Yes.
Anything else is extra.
Right. Now, can I get back on track, please? Okay. So the whole point, yes, question out front.
So those are interstates.
Uh-huh.
The 91 and the 405 have different logos.
Yes, they're not interstates.
One's a freeway,
They're both freeways.
but why do they have different logos?
I have no idea. Now you're getting way too sophisticated for me. I don't
Okay,
have a
sorry,
clue.
just kidding. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
I don't know. That's all California
Then
stuff.
why 66?
Route 6. Right. Okay. So back to 66. So 60 was already taken. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, that was already taken. So the government talked to Cyrus Avery and said, hey, you want 62? And he's like, 62? That's like low-key ghetto. I don't want 62. What is that? That doesn't even mean anything. So the story goes, him and his friend, a guy named John Woodruff, are sitting in this hotel in Springfield, Missouri, of all places. I don't know. And they liked the idea of 66. They liked like the duplicative number. So they sent a telegram to Washington that said, screw 62. We want 66. And that's officially, government granted it to him on April 30th, 1926, and said, let's go.
Huh.
You get it.
So this guy, who was a nobody, essentially,
Total
businessman
nobody.
of some sort,
Yeah,
maybe,
wanted money. Mm-hmm.
and he had money.
He wanted. He had money. He wanted money. All of the above. He wanted to make sure that he had a route that ran through his town because he was an opportunist. And he figured if I can make a route from Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica, California, I'm going to have...
So he came up with the route idea, or just the fact that it was going through Tulsa?
He came up with the route idea and
Oh,
wanted
dang.
it specifically to go through Tulsa. The whole problem was the government had already decided other routes, and they're like, this route is dumb. It doesn't match what we're trying to do. But he was like, I want to do it anyway. Lobbied, won, got Route 66. They started stitching it all together, and he owns a shit ton of gas stations and starts making $1 gazillion in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That
Brilliant.
is
Brilliant.
basically what happens.
Capitalism
Yes.
to a T.
Yes. So there you go. What are you going to do?
So he basically kills it. Cyrus, right time. I think you said that earlier. Like right time, right place, right
Yes.
all the things.
Yeah.
So was it just for him, or was it? I would assume it benefited a lot of people that were on Route 66. But then in the 20s, we had the Roaring 20s, we had the Depression, we had World War II. So
Yeah, no, it was totally timing. And it was like all three of the things you just said were basically played into it. So it's just different decades. But here we go. So Great Depression was the first one, right? So you remember the Dust Bowl? Like, okay, Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
Grapes. Okay,
Okay.
Dust Bowl. So that was a whole nother rabbit hole. Can I go down that rabbit hole for a second? So
sure.
Okay. I have too many things going on right now. So the Great Depression hits at the same time as the Dust Bowl's happening. So the Dust Bowl was a drought. Started as a drought. But the problem was really not a drought. Like, how does dust come from drought? Because I'm like, really? I don't get how those are connected. Apparently, they had shitty farming techniques for years and years up to this point of like getting rid of all the deep-rooted grass that was there and then trying to farm, not with good systems. And as a result, once the drought hit, that grass was gone and there was no more like whatever leverage like in the ground. I don't know what word I'm using. It's not the right word, but you get the idea. And so when the winds came, inevitably every year, this wasn't like some catastrophic dust storm. The winds came every year. The problem was because they had screwed up the ground so much because of the drought, the dust started, I mean, literally black clouds of dust across the United States. Peter, why are we telling me all this? Okay. My point is that was the first big movement of people. So that was the first time, Route 66, so right place, right time, 3 years after they commissioned this road in 1926, millions and millions of people are now on this road to get out of wherever they were, like Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, anywhere. Like they had nowhere to farm. They had nothing to do. They all just wanted to go west. And they all get on Route 66. And as a result of dumping on Route 66 starts to build. I mean, I'm talking infrastructure, right? Motels, gas stations, lodges, like whatever, like all the things that you remember had to start getting built because of the... Did you like Grapes of Wrath? Did you not like... Give me the...
Oh, I mean...
Do you remember Grapes of Wrath? Nothing. Okay. One of the greatest American novels ever written.
That's why you should have been a history teacher.
Can I
in
make you
another
go
life.
back and read Grapes of Wrath?
No,
like,
probably
you're not? Okay.
No.
Anyway, that's what it's all about. And it's very sad, actually. There's no good ending. And if you read it, you'll really get a good understanding of Ma and Pa Jode, the good old Jodes. Yeah, okay. Anyway, my point of bringing up Steinbeck was he nicknamed it in the book. He nicknamed it the Mother Road. And to this day, that is still the nickname of Route 66.
It makes sense, though.
The Mother Road. Like the Silk Road. You got the Silk Road. You got the Mother Road. Okay. All right, here's the deal. Next thing, World War II. You brought up World War II. So fast forward 10 years. Now there's infrastructure and so on and so forth. In the 1940s, what does America have to do? They have to recruit soldiers. Where are they recruiting soldiers from, Amanda? A bunch of small towns all over the United States of America. So the government has to get all these people that they're literally demanding go to war. They got to get them to all these base camps or whatever in the United States so they can ship them over to Europe. millions and millions of people literally overnight jump back on the roads and start building them up even bigger. So like diners now start getting built, or more bigger restaurants, and motels start turning into hotels because families are going, soldiers are going, so on and so forth. How long does the war last? What do they do when the war ends? They all want to come home. So they all get back on Route 66 and they all go back. There's no other way to get home. So we'll call it early 1930s, Great Depression, everybody moving out west because of the dream of California and green and orange trees and grass and beautiful everything. 1940s, the war, families have to get things, even munitions. We have to move everything everywhere. So you have now 20 years worth of infrastructure being built on this road. You with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. And then the last thing, of course, what happens after the war? What do we do? What's the generation that comes after the war?
Boomers.
The boomers. What did they do? They did it.
Babies.
They made babies. That's exactly, yes. So everybody's making babies and our economy is going bonkers, and our middle class, as a result, like doubles overnight. And like, everybody wants to move out of cities into suburbs. And where are they going to go? They're going to get back on the road because it's time to, for the first time in American history, in the 1950s, families are going to go on vacations because they have two incomes and they have disposable money, right? So they jump on the road and they start traveling. And where do you want to travel when you want to go on vacation, Amanda? California. Everybody wants to go to California. So the road trip was officially born in the 1950s thanks to the baby boomer generation and thanks to Route 66.
I love it. I mean, I'm always here for a good road trip.
I hate road trips.
Though
I would kill
went
myself.
Out we live in California, so.
You've done road trips. You do road trips with your girls all the time.
Every year. Yeah.
I would kill myself. Like if I had to go. No, like I can't.
Yeah, I'll be gone for a week in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you have the patience for it. I just don't have the patience for it. And maybe I would now that my kids are grown up, but with 4 kids, so like, no, and maybe I had the means so I could travel. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a like white entitled guy right now, but not my thing.
Maybe, yeah, because we weren't, and so that's all we ever did as kids was we'd hop in the car and we would just drive. So I very much, am in tune with this.
I like
concept.
So I love I love the idea of it because I think of Disney and I think of cars
trip.
and the whole
it's a trip. It's not vacation.
Yeah, no, but yeah, both. Yeah, like I think of all the. Like, when I watch Cars, it's nostalgic. Like, I get the idea. The diner. When you go in Cars Land, in literally Disneyland,
you feel it.
Very nostalgic. So, yeah, I just can't get over the hump of actually going and doing that. But maybe that's something I got to put on a bucket list. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, my point is those are the 3 things. You were right. The Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, World War II, and then, I mean, you didn't quite say it, but then the boomers, right? Those are the 3 things that I said timing was everything. 10 years apart, boom, 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 and established what was this little idea of some guy who wanted to make money into a massive, massive thoroughfare infrastructure, vacation destination.
Cultural phenomenon.
Yes, cultural phenomenon. Absolutely, cultural phenomenon.
All right. Okay, wait, hold on. Before we move on, I have 3 questions. One, because in my brain, like we have the 5.
Wait a second. I'm not going to remember all 3 questions.
Okay, well, you can.
Can I answer like one at a time? Because I'm never going to be able to do this.
Sure,
right.
if it's so intriguing for you to answer,
Okay.
yes.
But if I don't know, what do I say?
Then I'm
Can we phone a friend?
Sure.
Okay.
If you want.
That would be cool if we could do. Right now. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
You have to be old enough to know what phone a friend is.
Right.
Anyways,
God.
digress.
Oh.
So we have the 5, the 15, the 25, all the way to the 95.
Yes.
We have the 10, the 20, the 30, all the way to whatever. Okay. Where is like Route 66 and all of that mess? Because
2/3 of the
came
way.
First, chicken or the egg?
2/3 of the way between the 60 and the 70. Just kidding. I know.
Why not the 60?
Okay. Right. No, different 60. I know. I knew that was going to piss you off. But anyway, okay. Here's Route 66 was sort of before them all, because even though the federal government in like the 1920s said we're going to build all these highways and this infrastructure, they hadn't built them all out. So 66 got built out first, and so only after they started building the other federal highways did Route 66 start to like get decommissioned or not get used anymore. So it's not,
okay.
They're like, so to be honest, I think the 10 and the 66 actually overlap. I do think there's like parts of it, the nostalgic parts, because it runs through Santa Monica. Yes. But after that, there's no real connection. The 20 took over, the 30 took over, the 40 took over, whatever.
See.
Yeah. They're not connected like that.
Okay, fair.
Good question.
That helps my brain, because I was like, I don't understand.
Don't ask me about Calvin Coolidge again in glasses, because I won't.
I won't. Right. I mean, I don't know much about him anyways.
All right.
Second question.
Yeah.
Did Route 66 get decommissioned because of air travel and people were traveling less on it? Because like we have this like fascination with Route 66. It's like this mythological feel-good road.
Yeah.
But it was because prior to so much
Yeah,
air
I'm
travel,
sure that I didn't look all.
I don't know.
I didn't look all of it up. I'm going to say sort of sophisticatedly, yes.
Okay.
It had to have something to do with it. But I think we've just, as the interstates and freeways and highways, everything got so much more sophisticated. I mean, it just did. Like, we can drive 80 miles an hour now, and everything is linked so much better that by default it got decommissioned. I think air travel was a part of it, but not like the big reason. The big reason was the interstate system took over and our engineering just went bonkers and we're awesome at it. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Third question. So far I'm 1.5 for 2. Okay.
Yeah. So then why was everyone in love with Route 60? I mean, I say that question and I think the answer is, everyone loved it because it was the road that connected everything and everyone, and especially during the 20s or whenever Steinbeck was around, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like maybe it was like romanticized. It was
totally romanticized. Oh, yeah.
And I think it's because of the time, and that was the it thing.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
So why were writers so fascinated with it?
Well, I'm going to get off track and then I'll get back on track. I'll answer. The one thing is, like, I personally don't do a good job in 2026, like, putting myself in the position of someone back then. Because if you were living back then, of course you're going to, like, it was the best thing ever on the planet. It was freedom. It represented hope. It represented so much to so many families. I just finished watching, 1883. It's like a Yellowstone spinoff or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, James Dutton is like going across the country to try to get to Montana. And really well done. But, like, it's all about hope. And, like, we don't have that anymore because we have the luxury of living in Orange County and not worrying about stuff like that anymore. Like, so we've lost that connection with what people's struggles were. And so it's sort of like, to us, it's like, well, why was it important? It's like, no shit, it was important back then because we're not putting ourselves in I'm not putting myself in the right context. That being said, 2 main massive reasons why it went literally like magisterial or mythological, you would say. One was Jack Kerouac, the famous beatnik author Jack Kerouac. Okay, so he writes this book called On the Road, and he publishes it in 1957. And it is literally an autobiographical novel about just like going across America with his friends with no destination, absolutely no plan. And that book became the anthem of what you call the beat generation back in the day, like people that rejected conformity before the hippies. Like, they were like the countercultural movement of those people. They became the hippies in the 60s, right? And then punk rock in the 70s. Or then, like, now it's the Gen Zers with their, I'm not going to go to college and I'm going to take a gap year. Like,
okay.
you have it's a countercultural. So in the 50s, that was Jack Kerouac and those were his people, okay? And that book was legendary. And so people ate it up. And as a result, one reason why it became super, like, crazy mythological. And fun fact about that, the book wasn't actually about Route 66. It was really more about, like I was talking about, freedom and just going west from wherever you were, period. You're not going to find in the book where to go on Route 66 at all. It's just the journey to nowhere was the concept. Okay, anyway. And the second thing was, of course, TV. Thank you. They made a television show called Route 66, and it aired for 4 seasons on CBS. It came out in 1960, and people were obsessed. So it was these 2 guys, drove around the country, literally in a Corvette, stopping in these little random towns, getting into, like, all sorts of adventures or, whatever they did back then. Hijinks. They got into hijinks back then, I think you called them. Now you call it, they got into serious trouble. Back then it was just hijinks. So between the TV show, Route 66, and Jack Kerouac, that's where we took it from, this is a road that people used for decades, to this is American culture, ultimate American culture. Make sense?
Yeah.
And that's why today people literally, like you, are like, what is this Route 66 thing? I spent the time to go down the rabbit hole. I didn't know any of this, but, like, I'm sure there are people that are like, oh my God, I got to learn about this. What is this all about? Yeah.
This is fascinating. I mean, I drove on it, not even realizing how much culture and
anybody out here in you drove on it purposefully, but anybody out here in
Yeah,
California has driven, like, of course you've driven on a little bit, right? Because you're going to be on the 10 for some reason. Right.
But if everyone loved it so much, why did it die? Why was it decommissioned?
I know, right? Because
you said it wasn't because of air travel, and so I'm like, we got other
because of Trump.
interstates, I guess.
No, just kidding.
Always Trump's fault.
So kind of sad, but here's the story. Okay. So 1956, President then Dwight D. Eisenhower. You remember Eisenhower, okay? Signed something called the Federal Aid Highway Act, which officially created that interstate highway system we know today. Like, put the infrastructure around what they originally said they were going to do in 1926. So it took 30 years for them to start building out all the roads, doing the infrastructure, doing the engineering, so on and so forth. And to be honest, it's the best thing he ever did because, of course, where would we be without freeways and highways and everything like that? So don't get me wrong. But literally probably one of the most complicated projects in human history. Okay. But my point is Route 66 at that point basically was like, okay, we're done. We're the redheaded stepchild. They don't need us anymore. That was it. So all these small towns that Route 66 ran through started, of course, dying off because the freeways were not going around those small towns. And nobody cared anymore. The motels closed, the gas station closed, the diners closed, and people were just starting to get their services off the side of the highways, faster, better, didn't need it as frequently because cars were becoming more efficient, so on and so forth. And then finally in 1985, it was officially decommissioned, like removed, like I said at the beginning, from like the highway map system altogether. So it is not a federal road anymore. That's it. But to your point, it is absolutely still there. You can drive on it and everything, totally right. Because as soon as somebody decommissions something, then all of a sudden we have a social movement around like we can't really do that. So even though our federal government did that, people got super invested in it. We're like, no, hold on. This is nostalgia, which is of course awesome because that makes everything more iconic in America. And I love that. So they've now preserved it. Certainly parts of it are now preserved and the government has made room to preserve it. Even though it's a decommissioned federal highway, it's not gone forever. Now we're preserving what we can of the legacy behind the whole thing. And fun fact, Americans aren't even the most people that drive on it every year.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because when you think from other countries, like specifically when I was looking all this up, Germany and Japan, a lot of them, but Germany and Japan top the list, they equate American culture and freedom to this road.
Oh,
so when they come to America, one of the first things they want to see is Route 66, and they want to drive on that. It's like it's America to them in the purest form. Because you think back to America, right? What was America? Like America was cowboys. America was the frontier. America was all, right. So that's what it represents to them. So I'm sure like they have that in other countries. Like, I don't know what other countries would be like. Oh, it would be like the bullet train in Japan.
Okay.
Like if you got on the bullet train in Japan, like that. If I went to Japan, I haven't been to Japan. Have you been to Japan?
That's what you would do.
Right. You get on the bullet train, right? So like I think there's things like that in other countries that you immediately like. In Germany, the Autobahn. Yeah. I remember my dad got us on the Autobahn and he was so excited. He's like, "There's no speed limit, kids!" And it was the stupidest thing ever. I was like 8 years old, sitting in the back of the car. We're going like 100 miles an hour, freaking out. I'm like, "What the hell's happening here?" So like it's the same. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Place to see, place to visit, place to check off the bucket list.
Yeah.
Well, you snuck in a couple fun facts there.
I did.
Do you have more?
I did. Oh, I
love fun facts.
This was my favorite fun fact episode.
Really?
You know how sometimes I get into like a lot of the research? This one by far was fun fact galore. We're gonna need a part B to this episode. It's so long. I don't even know how we're gonna get through this.
Let's see how many of them I either know or I've experienced and didn't even know.
Oh shit! All right, let's go. You ready? Okay. So number one, you know the song "Get Your Kicks on Route 66." I was singing it earlier.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Written by Bobby Troup in 1946. Get your kicks on Route 66. Did you know that he wrote it while he was actually driving to California with his wife to try to make it in the music business?
Oh, that's
he was on the road when he wrote it. And the story goes, somewhere along the way, his wife turned to him and just said, "You should write a song about this road." She's the one who came up with the title. His wife.
Huh.
Who would have known?
I love
Behind
it.
every great man.
That's a good
right?
one.
Okay. And then from there, Nat King Cole records it. It blows up, becomes a mega hit that we all know and love. And super fun fact, it is one of the most covered songs in all of American music history. Rolling Stones, Chuck Berry, Depeche Mode, everybody, all music genres, everybody's covered it. Written by a guy on his way to California with nothing but a dream and his wife with better ideas than he had.
There you go.
Go
That's a good one.
Get your kicks on Route 66. I love that song. Okay, number
I feel
two.
like that's the only reason why I know Route 66.
That's why everybody knows Route 66. Yeah,
played so many times.
Okay, anyway, number two. In a field in Amarillo, Texas. Did you get to Texas?
No.
Did you see this?
No, we didn't go to Texas.
Okay, off the side of the road, just sitting there, on Route 66, are 10 Cadillacs buried nose first into the ground, just sticking up out of the dirt at like a 45-degree angle.
Is that where the lights come from?
This is
At
art.
Cars
This is
Land?
art. I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. Now you got to look that up. I don't even know. So apparently they were buried there in 1974 by this eccentric Texas oil millionaire named Stanley Marsh, who hired a San Francisco art company to do it. All in the name of art. The whole point was a critique on modern society back then because they took Cadillacs, obviously the ultimate symbol of like excess in America, right after the war, the baby boomers with the Cadillacs, and they literally buried them in the ground as tombstones. That was the idea. Like, here lies the American dream. But of course, then in perfect American fashion, the most American thing happens, and people start loving it, and families start driving out to see them in the middle of nowhere as a tribute. So what was supposed to be this like ironic take on American culture turned out to be this awesome thing that Americans love.
I mean, And yes,
It is?
actually, yes, the mountains in Pixar's and like the animation team
Let's go.
took the exact silhouette of the buried vehicles and adapted it into the jagged car-shaped rock formations that overlook Radiator Springs. But
The more
I didn't
you
even know that it was based
Based
off
on this.
of these.
I didn't know either.
I knew the mountains were like,
Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now you know.
Huh.
I didn't know that either. That's
Fascinating.
wild.
Extra super
We'll never look at
intellect.
it.
There you
That's
go.
a hidden. That's not a hidden Mickey.
No,
That's a
you'll
hidden
know.
Cadillac. Okay. Number 3. This one I could not believe. When Route 66 got popular, some towns that literally, Amanda, relocated themselves closer to the highway. The actual town, on purpose, physically moved their buildings and infrastructure. They figured like traffic would be so valuable. They deconstructed buildings and moved them to the side of the road so they wouldn't be invisible anymore.
Huh.
That's how important this was. Route 66.
That's crazy.
Economically important. Okay. Number 4, speaking of spending money, competition was so fierce back in the 1950s, some guy decided to build concrete teepees that he called the wigwam motels. Did you go to them?
No.
The closest one is in Arizona. Yes. All over the Southwest. Full size concrete structures shaped exactly like Native American teepees that you could literally sleep inside. He built 7 of them. 2 of them still exist today. One of them is in Holbrook, Arizona, and you can still book a room if you want to.
Huh.
You did not see that one?
Maybe we did.
I didn't. I have not.
Let me see.
All right, look that up. I'm going to keep going because I have a lot. Okay.
Go.
Number 5, right near the start of Route 66 in Collinsville, Illinois, you can see the world's largest ketchup bottle. How do you like that? Who would have known? That's because who wouldn't want to see that? Apparently, in 1949, the Brooks Ketchup Company decided it would be a good advertisement campaign to shape their water tower as a ketchup bottle so they could advertise ketchup.
I mean, it was a way to
It's
draw
like
people in, right?
It's like Randy's Donuts, you know.
Yeah.
And that's right. It almost got torn down in 1993, but of course, then a bunch of people fought to save it and successfully restored it, and now it is on the National Register of Historic Places. You could go see
I love it.
the world's largest ketchup bottle. Yeah.
So good.
Did you find the Wigwam Motel in Arizona?
So loosely, it's tied into cars. I haven't figured out how exactly, but we did look at staying there. But it's really hard because it's always booked.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
All right, number 6. When Route 66 was officially designated in 1926, only 800 miles of its 2,400 miles were actually paved. So remember how we said we're stitching it together? The whole thing had to get stitched together? All the rest was gravel and dirt. And actually, one part of Texas, it was wooden planks. Literally wooden planks. It wasn't completely paved until 1938. 12 years after it was officially declared a federal highway, it finally got paved. So all those Dust Bowl families driving to California in the early 1930s, most of that shit, Amanda, was dirt roads and wooden planks. Kill me now.
Okay, hold on. So I found the connection with the Wigwam motel,
Whatever.
teepees, whatever they're
Teepees,
called.
right? Yeah, well, concrete teepees.
So the Cozy Cone Motel in Radiator Springs, the inspiration.
Oh, the
behind the cones.
5 cones. There's 6.
Yeah.
Well, probably 7 cones. I don't even know. That's where my kids get their mac and cheese.
Yeah.
The Cozy Cone.
Yeah. So it's
But those are
it's all part of-
like red cone.
Well, it's like the cone, but it's
Okay.
the inspo is
It's behind it.
the
Okay.
teepees
For
for
All right, I'll
that.
take that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
kind of
good.
cool.
Okay. Last one. Finally, Route 66 ends or starts, depending on which direction you're going, at the Santa Monica Pier, like we said, right here in California. There's actually a sign there. And the reason it ends at the pier is kind of perfect, actually. The whole mythology thing we were talking about is that you're chasing something west, right? California, the ocean, the end of the continent. And when you get there, there's literally nowhere left to go. The road dumps you out at the end of the water. So you either have 2 choices, turn around and go home, or figure out what to do next. Well, just to be sort of sophisticated, it technically ends a few blocks away at the intersection of Olympic and Lincoln. I figured out because you can't legally end it like at the pier.
Really? Because there's a sign, the Route 66 sign.
It's not
at the pier.
it's not as sexy as the pier.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
And also, by the way, that sign has been stolen more than anything in the world.
I'm sure. There's always a line to take a picture with
right.
it. So then it's more like symbolic than anything else.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean,
Cool.
that's the best, right? Let's go. You know what? I feel like Randy Newman would be good for a Route 66 remake. He probably did it. Okay. Anyway,
Whatever
that's all
you
I got.
say.
Fun facts.
Whatever you say.
Yeah.
I love how we just started talking about a road, and then we somehow ended up talking about American culture and identity and Disneyland.
I know. A lot of Disneyland. A lot of cars.
But I mean, somehow this Route 66 has seeped its way
Unified
into,
America.
I guess unified is a good
Unified
way of putting it,
America.
of just connection,
Yes.
right? Whether it be Disneyland, whether it be, you've traveled on it as a kid, stories, songs you've heard, fill in the blank. It is part of the American culture.
It's
and
DNA.
identity.
I said it at the beginning really quick. You had New York, totally built out, the whole East Coast, all the way to Chicago. Chicago was the westernmost city in 1926. Well, I mean, I know they had little towns, but you get the idea. That was it. So when they built this whole thing, Like, it literally did bring the country together. People could meet each other for the first time. And remember the 1940s and the war. Like, think of the number of families that met other families. And like, think of the life that was just lived on this road. Like, that's what I mean. That's why history for me comes to life. It's insane.
Well, you have to experience it, right?
Yes,
I think once you
it's
experience
incredible.
it, you have a different appreciation for it. All the good
all,
stuff.
All the good stuff. And a reminder, if you want any of these fun facts or the episode summary delivered to your inbox, DM us on Instagram. We'll send them out to you. Thank you for supporting the show.
All right, where do we go from here?
We get our kicks
On Route 66?
66. Well, whatever. I mean, first thing I would say is go drive to it, right? Do what you did. Go experience it. Find the closest place and go to it. Okay, that's one. But if you don't want to get off the couch, because I get it, some of us aren't going to get up, watch the documentary Horatio's Drive by Ken Burns. It's not about Route 66 specifically, but it's actually about the first cross-country road trip ever in America in 1903. It's incredible. It's on PBS. I think it's streaming too. It's just amazing to see what people can do when they have the will. It like reminds me of 1883, the show that we were talking about how they brought their horse and carriage across country. So Horatio's Drive? I think I say Horatio's Drive by Ken Burns. Okay. Then, of course, if you haven't already, read The Grapes of Wrath. I talked about it a few times. John Steinbeck. Everyone says they've read it. I call bullshit. I don't think most people have read it.
I mean, I've read it. I don't remember anything of it.
I'm going to say most people pretend they've read it, right?
Okay, fair.
So
we all read Cliff Note version.
Yeah.
If you're a
okay,
millennial.
fine.
Here
Read
we
the
are.
Cliff Note version, but it will put you in the mindset of what people were thinking back then. And I think that's what I want everybody to get out of this episode. It's like, holy crap, what was going on at the time? Anyway, okay, that's all I got.
All right. And if you don't want to do any of that, then just remember these details seem sort of sophisticated. Number 1, Route 66 was designated in 1926 as a federal highway running 2,400 miles from Chicago to Santa Monica, California. It was one of the first highways in the national system and ran through the American heartland at a moment in history when the country was about to go through some serious upheaval. Number 2, 3 major historical waves define what the road meant. The Dust Bowl migration of the 1930s, where over 3.5 million Americans drove it west, fleeing poverty and drought. The World War II military movement of the 1940s, which built the infrastructure and the towns, and the post-war tourism boom of 1950s, which created the neon diner motel aesthetic that America is still nostalgic for today. Number 3, writers and artists, especially John Steinbeck in The Grapes of Wrath, evidently Pete's favorite book, and Jack Kerouac in On the Road, turned Route 66 into mythology. The road became a symbol of freedom, reinvention, and the idea that if your life isn't working, you can drive west and start over, which is maybe the most uniquely American idea there ever was. Number 4, Route 66 was officially decommissioned in 1985 when the interstate highway system made it obsolete. The towns it ran through largely died, sadly, but the road itself survived and today is one of the most visited tourist destinations in the world, driven primarily by international travelers who come to experience what they see as the authentic spirit of America. And finally, the road ends at the Santa Monica Pier. It's at the edge of the Pacific Ocean, which means every single person who drove it from the beginning ended their journey staring at the water with nowhere left to go. And somehow, for millions of Americans, that felt like freedom.
And there you have it, dear listeners. We started today with a road and somehow ended up somewhere else entirely. Of course we did. Here's what I keep coming back to. Route 66 was not the most direct route. It wasn't the fastest. It wasn't even the prettiest. It goes through Kansas, for God's sake. But people loved it because it was theirs. Because something about being in motion, heading somewhere new, choosing to leave, that felt like hope, like possibility. Yeah, sure, freeways and interstates made everything faster, but Route 66 is still out there, cracked and faded in a lot of places, weeds coming up through the asphalt, signs that nobody reprinted since 1967, but it's still there. And if we did our job today, maybe that's the whole point. Some roads don't need to be the fastest to get somewhere. They just need to exist, so you know the option is there. As always, if you like what you listen to, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's been thinking about getting in the car and driving somewhere for no good reason. Because it turns out that's one of the most American things you can do. Until next time, stay curious, stay moving, and remember, the destination will always be there, but the road is only as good as how slow you're willing to take it.